Hey guys, so for my first test here, it's going to be about deck building. And when I was looking through the cards that I got from the new set, so let's go there. I got Bontu, and God Eternal Bontu, upon seeing him, I realized that there was a lot of synergy with some other really cool cards. And so I wanted to try and build a deck off of him. The immediate synergy I saw was specifically with Squee. If you don't know Squee is a little bit older of a card from Dominaria, and when Squee dies, he just comes right back. Unfortunately, in his interactions with Bontu, when Bontu eats his reinforcements, Squee doesn't get all the reinforcements back. So this led me to thinking, well, this is a cool combo, but it might not be practical unless we have a way of getting fast tokens onto Squee. Which then, upon looking through the new cards, I saw this guy, Krenko. Now, Krenko is going to be really good with this deck, and as we go through the building process, I'll point out a little bit of why he's so good. So first thing you need to do is determine what planeswalker you want to use when you're deck building, and the cards you want to build around. And now since Bontu is my linchpin for the deck, and I'm going to be using Krenko, I'm going to go ahead and go with Bolas the Ravager. I happen to think he's the best planeswalker in the game for combos. So let's get rid of that old deck and start our process. So the first thing you're going to want to do after you've decided the card you want to build around is you need to build a core of your deck. If your deck doesn't have a core, you're going to find it's going to get really random, really fast, and it won't be a productive deck. So here, our core is going to be Bontu and the Goblins. Okay, so we're going to look at rare goblins from here. So we're going to throw in Krenko, and we're also going to throw in Squee. Now, upon looking at Squee and Krenko and Bontu together, I immediately realized there were some really cool possibilities for some other card interactions. So the first, and I think the most obvious one that you guys might see, is going to be with Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct is going to be able to bring all of our good boys in. With Krenko, he's going to be producing tokens, and because he's producing tokens, Killer Instinct isn't going to be killing Krenko. With Squee, when Squee dies, who cares? And if you get Bontu at first, it's really not a big deal. So we're going to throw Killer Instinct into that deck. Since the deck has blue, we threw it in. We're obviously going to be adding Blue Sun Zenith. You really can't make a blue deck right now without it. And to that token, I'm also going to be throwing in the new blue mythic here, Finale of Revelation. It's going to function a lot like Blue Sun will for us, but it's going to be ramping up our blue mana gains, and that's really going to be helpful as the game goes on. Keep in mind, because we're using Squee, the deck isn't going to be super fast, but it's very control-y, and if you're ever put in a situation where you need to build a deck where you need to lose creatures, this will probably be the best deck you can play. So now that we've got this here core, this immediately brings up two more cards that are going to do some really cool things for us. So let's take a look at them. Now, one of them is a card that I'm sure many of you haven't gotten a lot of use out of, and that comes from Ixalan, and it is a support, Arguel's Bloodfast. Now, Arguel's is going to work particularly well in this deck for a number of reasons. One, when you're losing life to the Bloodfast to draw two cards, it's going to help you flip it, but also when you use Bolas's ultimate, that's also dealing damage to you, and that's going to help you flip the Bloodfast. Now, when Bloodfast flips, not only are you getting Black Gem conversion, but you're also going to get this destroy the last creature you control, gain life equal to its toughness times 2. Now, as you're going to be repeatedly destroying Squee in this deck, whenever you destroy a creature, namely Squee, and it's something that returns to the battlefield, it returns as your last creature. So as long as you've killed Squee recently, Temple of Aklazats is going to be targeting Squee every single time. So every time you get that activate 1 black, it's going to be destroying Squee, and when Squee comes back, he's going to be getting an additional reinforcement, and you're gaining life. So in doing this, you're gaining life, you're gaining reinforcements for Squee, which is going to give you mana from Bontu. It's going to be, all in all, a lot of really good, yummy stuff. So we like that one. The second one is a card from the new set that's really cool. We had a little bit of a discussion about it in clan chat, but it's called Death Sprout. Now, Death Sprout is really good in this deck for a number of reasons. One, you can use it to kill Squee repeatedly, and Blue Sun is going to give it enough mana to cast. Two, it gives you creature removal in the event that your opponent gets something that you don't want on the field. And finally, it's going to give us free Rupture Spires, a card we all love. So, did I forget to put uncommon? I did. So we're going to throw Rupture Spire into the deck. And so this is starting to round out the deck a little bit more, right? So Death Sprout is going to kill Squee. It's going to bring out Rupture Spire, which is going to get us a whole bunch of mana. If we didn't put in the Temple. If the Temple is flipped, it's going to be giving us the activation of the Black Gem every time. And so that's got some extra little synergy there. And so now finally for our last card, we're actually going to be throwing in one of my very favorite cards. If you read the chat, you'll see that, well, I like it a lot. It's Electro Dominance. Now, Electro Dominance is particularly cool in this deck for a number of reasons. One is that Electro Dominance with Blue Sun is going to be coming in with 4 stored mana. And with 4 stored mana, you can use that immediately off of a Blue Sun cast to kill Squee again. And then Squee comes back with a reinforcement, and you gain 4 mana from Electro Dominance. Or if you want, you can also continue storing the mana and gain more mana. So that'll be card 10. That's really the whole deck, so let's test it.